make a simple app today. So first of all, let's go into the app creation with App Inventor post on Google Classroom. You can read the instructions. The first app we're going to be making is this one called Hello Codi. It's a really simple app, but it's just to get you started. So a couple of things. First of all, I need to go to App Inventor. Once I go to App Inventor, I need to click on Create Apps. There's a bit of a setup process because it's the first time I'm using it, so you just need to follow the steps. Nearly there. I'm going to skip for now. I'm going to click on Classic, that's fine, and OK. And I'm going to hit Don't Show Again and Continue and Close. Right, excuse me. Right, so here we go. We're now in App Inventor. So I'm going to go to Projects and I'm going to say Start New Project, and I'm going to call it Codi. Okay. Right, so here we go. You can see this now is where I'm going to build my app. So, okay, question is, well, how am I going to build my app? Well, I guess I'm going to follow the instructions on Google Classroom, which are here. Hello Codi. Okay, so I'm just going to go and drag this window out, resize it a little bit so that I can have my instructions there, and then behind here I'm going to have my App Inventor. So look, there is my App Inventor, and here are my instructions. Right, so the first step is I'm going to be using this image here. Let's click on it and see. I'm going to be using that image, and also I'm going to be using this sound, okay, which is the sound of some bees, right? So the whole app is basically when I click on an image, it makes the sound of a bee. So anyway, so press Control down on your keyboard, click on the image, and then select Download Linked File As. Make sure you select your desktop and hit Save. That image is now saved onto my desktop. You do the same thing with the audio sound. So you press Control, click, Download Linked File As. Again, leave it on the desktop. Those two files have now been downloaded onto the desktop. Okay, right, so let's just open up my Finder. Let's go to my desktop, and I can see there's my B sound and there's my Codi. Okay, so I have my two files that I'm going to need. Right, okay, next step. So the next step then is to start designing this app. Okay, right, start designing the app. Right, so you can follow the steps, you can read the instructions, but I'm just going to get on with it anyway. So the first thing I need to do is put a button on my screen. So if I go here to my user interface, I'm going to drag a button and drop it on. There we go, there's my button. Okay, now for this button, I want to actually make the background of my button the cat. I don't like this gray thing. I want the cat, the bee. I'm going to put on the background of the bee. So right, first of all, I have to get my two files that I've saved already. Remember, they're on my desktop. I'll just show you again. My bee sound and my Codi image. So I need to get those into my project. So I'm going to go here under Media and upload the file. So I'm going to choose the file from my desktop. I'm going to upload Codi first. Okay, you can see now that's uploaded, which means I can use it in my project. And I'm going to upload a second file. This time I'm going to upload my B sound file. There we go. And upload. Okay, so I've uploaded my two files. So now what I want to do is I want to use my Codi image. I want to set that as the background to my button. So let's click on my button here, and let's go to the properties of my button. So notice here I can go to the image property and add the Codi image. There we go. Notice it says text for button 1. It kind of looks a bit bad, so I'm going to get rid of that text just in there. Okay, so there's my button. So when I click on this button, I want to play my B sound. Okay, so I'm just going to give the person who's using the app a little bit of instruction. So I'm going to use a label, drag that out, and on the label I'm going to say, you know, click the B. There's my label. Okay, now if I want to make that look a bit better, I can obviously like change the font size of that. I can maybe position it a little bit better because you know, maybe I want it in the middle or whatever, but anyway, we'll get into that later. So right, so when I click the B, I want to play my B sound. Now I need to code that, okay? So I need to actually go to my blocks section. So up here I've got blocks, right? So I'm gonna go to blocks. Okay, there's my designer, there's my block. So I've done my design, I've put on my button, I've set the background of the button to the B image, I've put on a label which just says click the B, and now I want to code this button. So if you're wondering how, like obviously this is all in the document as well. Over here, here's the document, I'm just skipping ahead a little bit. Let's have a look at the code. So here's the code. When button 1 is clicked, do call sound 1 play. That basically means when I click on the button, play the sound. Okay, so let's go back to my code again. Back to my blocks. Go to my button. There's my block there. So when button 1 is clicked, I want to play my sound. Okay, so let's just go back here for a second, back to my designer, go to my button, that's all good. Last thing I need to do in order for the sound to be available is I have to go to my media and I have to drag this sound block out. Just drag it and drop it onto your actual code, okay? Right, so now that I've done that, if I go back to my blocks, I now have my sound component over here, okay? And look, call sound 1 and play. So my code is basically saying when I click on the button, which is the B, it will play that sound. So in order for that sound to actually play properly, I need to just select my sound 1 block, and in the source I need to just choose my B sound. So that means when I click on my button, it will play the sound, and the sound that will be played is the B sound. Okay, so the last step is I want to get this onto my iPad. So on your iPad, open up your App Inventor app, okay, and it will ask you to scan a QR code. So how do you get the QR code? Well, from the screen here on your computer, you go to Connect, you go to AI Companion, you get your iPad now, you scan that QR code. After a few seconds, you will see your app on your iPad. On your iPad, turn up the volume, tap on the picture of the bee, and it should play the buzzing sound.